Hello and welcome to week 24. This is all about a balanced approach to health and safety. And there's also a question about planning stimulating environments for the children, healthy and safe environments for the children. So here are the questions for this week. Let's have a look. They all come from the Health and Safety unit. We've got Health and Safety 3.1. Explain why it is important to take a balanced approach to risk management. And Health and Safety 3.2, explain the dilemma between the rights and choices of children and young people and health and safety requirements. So these two are going to go together and make an essay. And then after that, you've got a drawing one. Health and Safety 1.2, describe the factors to take into account when planning healthy and safe indoor and outdoor environments. Okay, let's have a look then. So we're going to start with an essay. There isn't a worksheet for this, for these two questions. You're just going to open a new Word document and write an essay. But I have given you here an outline with 5 paragraphs. I've said just write 2 sides of A4, maximum 5 paragraphs, and don't forget to P. Let's have a look. So your first paragraph should be an introduction, and maybe here you could mention taking into account the child or young person's age, needs and abilities. Mention different special needs as examples. So we're talking about, should you wrap the children up in cotton wool? Or should you let them make all their decisions themselves and learn by having accidents? Well, obviously, if a child has special needs, you're going to do that differently from a child who hasn't. You're going to treat a 4-year-old differently from an 11-year-old. The next 2 paragraphs, I'd like you to give examples, either from a video that we're going to have a look at or from your own school. So paragraph number 2 is about avoiding excessive risk taking. The TA shouldn't allow children to make all the decisions because it could be too dangerous. Is there a situation in your school where you think it might be a bit too dangerous? Or maybe the video would help you with this one. The other second paragraph here is going to contrast with this one. It says, don't be excessively risk averse. A TA should not wrap children up in cotton wool, or you could mention helicopter parenting, where there's always an adult hovering over the child saying, oh, be careful, don't do this, don't do that. Have you got an example from your school where you think they're risk averse? They don't let the children take enough risks. And then paragraph number 4, you need to mention children's rights. Children have a right to play in the way that they want to, and they have a right to be safe. And I think here you could go to the UN Convention articles on the rights of a child. There's one about playing and there's one about their right to be kept safe. There's an idea, a good idea here about, are children allowed to play fight? Can they hurt each other in the playground? What if one child is saying, I don't mind if he hits me? Are they allowed to do that? Have they got a right to play in a dangerous way? And in conclusion, you can put your own opinions in here now, but you need to mention how important risk and challenge is to children to allow them to develop well. If we don't let them take risks when they're younger, when are they going to learn to take risks? Is it when they're older and they're going to be taking risks with drugs and alcohol and other much more dangerous things? Okay, to help you here, I've given you a sample answer written by a previous student, but it's quite a basic one. It might not even pass. Read the green comments, read the essay and see what should you add if you wanted to improve this essay. So what else can you use? Here I've put an article for you with advice to school governors. Could be good for a quote. Here's the link to the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. You only need to look at articles 3 and 31. I think there's about 50 articles. Don't read them all. Just go straight to 3 and 31. Now, this might be a good place to start, actually. You might like to start today by watching this video of the No Rules School. It's a school in New Zealand with no playground rules at all. What do you think about that? There's also an article about the same school that you could quote from. So that's the first part of today's work. One essay, please. Put those 2 questions at the top of your essay, 2 sides of A4. Use the 5 paragraphs, please, and don't forget to pee. Okay, the second bit of your homework for this week is about factors to take into account when planning healthy and safe indoor and outdoor environments. All the information you need is in this document here. So let's click on this. And I've just basically set out a do-it-yourself guide here. So the factors to take into account, I've given you 8 factors to mention here, and they relate to indoor and outdoor areas. So you should look at lighting, heat and noise. It's a describe question. So if you wrote 1 sentence for each of those, you would be done. 1 sentence about indoors and 1 sentence about outdoor areas. So light, heating and noise, the furniture and the flooring, security issues. Are there gates in a playground? Are there doors in a classroom? Food hygiene, where do children eat or throw away their snacks? Vandalism, is the area vandal proof? What about for weather, heat and cold? And if you're indoors, is the classroom sufficiently hot and cold proof? You might have covered that up here with lighting, heat and noise. What about individual needs of children with SEND? Can they get around your area? And number 8, as a stretch and challenge, can you mention the emotional environment? Is this a nice place for the children to be in? If you feel like it, you could draw this answer. So I've drawn 2 little pictures here, a playground, and I'm thinking particularly about science in my playground, and a classroom, and I've got it set up for art. You could just do an ordinary classroom and look at your playground at playtime. You choose. You're thinking about planning an indoor and an outdoor area in your school. This is not a risk assessment, so I've put it down here. Imagine your school just won a grant for £1 million and it's up to you, the TAs, to plan the new classroom and the new playground. Write in a positive way, describing what you think the area should have. So I would like you to write for each of these. If you don't want to do drawing, you can just write 2 paragraphs, one for indoor where you mention all of these, and then another one for outdoor where you mention all of these factors. I've given you a couple of examples here. So number 3 says security. So it's describe, you've got to write a sentence. I've pointed to my picture of the door here, and I've put the doors should have hinges that don't trap small fingers and safety glass in the windows. Also, young children especially should not be able to open doors that lead outside. And now here's my answer for number 4, which was food hygiene. In a classroom, you should have 2 sinks ideally, one for food preparation and drinking water and one for washing hands and paintbrushes. Okay, so you can draw me 2 pictures and label them like this, or write 2 paragraphs where you mention each of the factors for indoor and each of the factors for outdoor areas. Let's go back to Moodle. Oops, lost my Moodle. Okay, yeah. So you've got your essay and you've got your 2 paragraphs. Complete those 2 pieces of work and send them to me, please.